Good morning and welcome to Haiku Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Yes, I am back at Haiku Friday HQ, no longer on a field trip, back in the studio. Actually, it is a studio. It's my art studio, I guess. It's kind of a mess. That's what it is. It's the mess. Okay, let's get things started with Max Q. Max Q with a little update, kind of a sad one, but we kind of got to roll with the sadness sometimes. The orchids withered, killed by an August heat wave. Harbingers, they are. Yeah, they are, huh? Yeah, sorry, Max Q. Only orchids we grow here in Spokane are indoors. So they're a little protected. But yes, that is a sad thing. Sad thing. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot down there and you guys don't have fires. Shouldn't say that, but it's unavoidable, I suppose. Here is one from Bill. Bill just getting this one in under the wire. Let me set this up a little bit because Bill does such a great job of setting it up for me. Was that Bill's been thinking a lot about two things: the increasing rate of change and the increasing lifespan of people. And he sent me a really interesting graph that had basically addresses that and sort of the advent of AI and how we're going to handle this as usually people keep up with technological change, are kind of ahead of the curve, are able to adapt. But those of us who've had older people in our lives who have no desire to adapt to things, that maybe this is going to be a tough one. So, and I will include that graph in the blog post. Here's Bill's. Rate of change growing and people living longer. A collision course. Yeah, maybe that's where we are. Maybe that's at the heart of why we are where we are. Thanks, Bill. Here's one from our pal Rikosan. Silence the chatter. Blaring with its pants on fire, listen to the land. I had the pleasure of listening to Rikosan kind of flesh this one out the other day, the other morning. I guess it would have been Sunday morning, and very eloquently stated some things that made me feel good, much better about the state of affairs, especially when we think about the natural state. So thank you, Rikosan. Thank you for a lot of things. Here is mine. Bad horror flick or laughable science fiction. Dumb evil triumphs. Ah ha ha, that's mine. Yes, not much about the natural world in this one, that's for sure. So what's going on? This weekend had the writers' workshop, and that was a great time. Met wonderful people, really great writers, and I got to read a lot of really cool stuff and talk about that cool stuff. That's what I love. I love doing that. I love when I'm in a play and the director makes the mistake of saying, let's talk about character. Ooh, that for me is heaven. Like, what's the backstory? What's the playwright trying to say? Luckily, it's usually a dead playwright like Shakespeare, so we can attribute whatever we want to what he's saying. But sometimes they're not dead, so we have to be a little bit respectful. But I do enjoy that, like breaking open the text. I think, what do we call that? Is that hermeneutics? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it was great. It was a great time. I missed Sarah because she was on a bike trip when I left. She got back the same day that I left to go to this workshop. I think it was 4 days, 5 days, 4 nights. Anyway, it was So we kind of missed each other. And so I slept up in the roof nest. Quillisasket has great accommodations, but I love sleeping in that roof nest. So I did that every night by myself, which is weird. I think that's the first time I ever did that. All right, so what else is going on? The garden is going guns, great guns. Boy, it is just producing now. I've been growing these Anise Noir tomatoes, which are the ugliest tomatoes you'd ever want to see. They're really grotesque looking, and they're green and red on the inside, but they are the sweetest, almost like a sour pineapple-y flavor to them, and lingering kind of chocolatey aftertaste to me. They are really good. And so we've been doing a lot of cooking with those. And the bad thing is when you cook up something that's red and green, it turns brown. The color's brown, which is not appetizing. But so we're making a lot of tomato sandwiches. Last night we had BLTs with those starring in them. It was fantastic. One of the things that came out of this workshop, taught by a couple of very notable writers, especially in the Spokane community, as one of them talked to me about being working on a memoir, which I don't like the idea of writing about myself. I like writing fiction more than anything, but Sam said that it would be a good thing and would maybe sell, which would be unusual for my stuff. I've got a box of poetry. I've got a novel from 1997 on Amazon. So I'm used to not selling things. And like my paintings, I paint them and then I don't try to sell them. I just move on to the next thing. And so I just like to make things. So it's to do something that might be commercially viable is strange territory for me. But so I've been dedicating about an hour and a half each day towards that. What else? Oh, one project that I'm really excited about is, of course, I don't know if I've showed this in this form, but the beet head. Here's the head. You can see he's got, let's see, there he is, in all his glory, the beet head. Yes. And he's got like little tentacle root things at the end, and it fits on my head. It fits on my head enough that I can see out of one of the eyes. I can choose between either eye that I see. But the big part of this was coming up with leaves and stems, which I add a little. Sometimes when you're stuck on these things, even with the painting or writing, you're stuck on something. Sometimes it's just like, you know what? I'm going to be open to what the universe wants to show me. And so I actually had an idea about making these leaves, which came to fruition. So I made these leaves, and they're huge. They're huge leaves. There's three of them. And I attached them to this base, which I put Velcro on this base, and I put Velcro on the top of the beet head, so I could detach this for my plan. One of my plans, I think, and now whether I do this or not, I don't know, but I think it would be fun to go up to like a harvest festival, like say up at Green Bluff, and dressed as this grotesque beet, and just see if kids would like to have their pictures taken with a very, I mean, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want their kid's picture taken with that? So that's that. But I didn't like the idea. I did this, and I attached it on onto the head, and it looked dumb. I don't like this cone thing. And then I had the idea of making it that the beats. First, I was kind of thinking like more superhero, but I think the beat's going to do poetry, so he can do beat poetry. Yes, beat poetry. And so I have to write some beat poems. But I was telling Rikosan this idea, and Rikosan said, you should put a beret on him, which made everything open up for me. Like, what if I made the beret a device to attach the beat stems to, and then I could attach that to the head. I don't really worry. You know, I go down these roads for a couple hours, and then they're unsuccessful, and then on to something else. But I always learn something. So I've got some really cheap berets. They look awful, but they're cheap. And so I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this beret permanently to the beat head. Permanently in that I will be able to take it apart. And in doing so, I'm going to make it so that I can attach to this permanent attachment. The beret will have holes in it. Those holes will go into a wood block. The wood block will be on top of the beat head. And then I will be able to, I do still want to be able to take these fronds out. But what I think I'm going to do is take it so I can just pull out each one individually and just put them aside. That way the beat can be ever changing. And then there will be different formats. I'm talking to my nephew, who's the front man for Green Warriors, which is a band, as someone described to me. She was running for office, and she described for me, it's like being on acid. Not that I've ever done acid, is how she added to it. But that's how this band sounds. So I'd kind of like to do some spoken word with that in the background. Yeah, so I'm working on that. We have the nephews, or the grandsons sleeping over tomorrow. Not the youngest grandson. He was so cute. The youngest grandson yesterday had a little bout of diarrhea. And so my wife was explaining it to me by saying, yeah, he has some loose stool. Whereupon my grandson couldn't quit saying, loose stool, loose stool, loose stool. He ran around the house going, loose stool, which was really cute. So anyway, but the 3 older grandkids are going to come over tomorrow night. We're going to have a big old sleepover. It's going to be fun. All right, that's it for Haiku Friday. That's it for my wacky updates. I'm looking at a painting right now that nobody will ever be able to see except for me and my wife. Inspired by a painting called Day's Truth, if you want to know what this painting's about. Day's Truth. At the Chicago Institute of Art. Okay. That's it for Haiku Friday. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you all later. And have a great weekend. Why don't you?